Bratislava. It's not only the largest city and capital of Slovakia, it also makes for a fine day trip from Vienna. I did just that last year, where I saw some incredible sights, ate some great food, drank a bit of beer, and utilized the most spectacular urinal of my life.
It's a beautiful day in the fine city of Bratislava in Slovakia. I'm here on a day trip from Vienna. Now, I've actually been to Slovakia before, but really I was just passing through the country. All I really did was stop for lunch and I didn't really do much. I never really got a chance to really know the country. So I'm very excited to see what Slovakia and Bratislava has to offer. So far, it's been a pretty interesting experience as I wound up at a completely different train station than the one I had expected I'd end up at.
Earlier in the day, when I bought my train ticket to Bratislava, I neglected the fact that there are multiple train stations in the city. As a result, I bought a ticket which would get me to Bratislava the soonest, but it wasn't to the main train station like I thought. I realized this as I was on my way to the city, but fortunately, I was able to quickly get my bearings once I arrived and bought a bus ticket from a somewhat archaic machine. Thankfully, the bus took me to where I needed to be.
Fortunately, I made it here to the city center, but we'll see how it is later in the day when I try to go back to the train station. Now, the second I got off that bus, the first thing on my mind was coffee. I ended up in a place that I've seen pictures of before, and that was quite the experience.
My plan with regards to getting coffee was just to head to the main sites of Bratislava, and I figured I would find something along the way. I spotted Konditorei Kormuth, a historic patisserie that I've seen pictures of before. However, no photos could have prepared me for what I was about to see.
So I just got seated. This place is something else, but wow, is it beautiful.
Everything was just so extra. It was a true treat for the eyes. In terms of the menu, there was a wide selection of coffee-based beverages and cakes, of course. To drink, I got a cappuccino, which was served in a dainty but beautiful-looking glass. The cappuccino was well made and hit the spot. To eat, I got a slice of the white chocolate poppy seed cake. The cake was delicious. It was nice and fresh, plus the flavors were well balanced.
So the cappuccino and cake, they definitely hit the spot, and the presentation, yeah, it's pretty snazzy.
After finishing, it was time for the bill, which came to 15 euros, but with my tip, I spent 17. Before I left, I made my way downstairs to the washroom, and wow, that was one hell of an epic urinal.
So that was pretty interesting. I mean, I liked my cappuccino and cake, and I've never utilized a urinal that fancy before, so it was quite the experience. Overpriced? Yes, but it was quite unique. Now that I'm caffeinated, it's time to get back to sightseeing. I don't really have a plan, but we will see what this day brings.
I set out to begin my exploration of Bratislava. Almost immediately, I spotted the old town hall tower, which provides panoramic views of the city. After purchasing a ticket for a mere 4 euros, I began my climb up.
Dude, this is tight.
There were some interesting displays along the way, but soon enough, I made it to the top.
I made it to the top, and what a view. You can see pretty much all the main sites of Bratislava from here. It is beautiful. Yeah, judging from how things look, I think I'm gonna be taking a lot of photos today.
Simply put, the views and scenery were incredible. To be honest, what I knew of Bratislava wasn't much. That scene in the movie Euro Trip with the nickel is one of the first things that comes to mind, but I was discovering that Bratislava is a beautiful and wonderful place.
So I definitely enjoyed being up in that tower. I think it was a fine introduction to this city, and I feel like I got some good photos as well. Now I'm just gonna continue my explorations of Bratislava. I'm gonna be focusing on this old town area. I mean, it just looks so beautiful here, and the weather is so perfect out. Yeah, I'm pretty happy right now.
I took a short walk to one of Bratislava's most notable sites, a statue named Čumil. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but it's also known as the Man at Work. I thought that it was a fun piece. It first appeared in 1997 and has been delighting locals and tourists ever since.
So right near the main square is probably Bratislava's most famous artwork. It's a pretty amusing sculpture. I got a picture in front of it. I'm happy. I gotta start thinking about lunch now.
I had a restaurant in mind, so I made my way there, but it was slow going. New sights instantly captured my attention.
You see, this is one of the reasons why I tend to do early lunches while I'm traveling. I get easily distracted, and especially in this city, it just seems like there's beautiful sight after sight, and I'm stopping to take pictures, and the next thing you know, it's like 3 p.m. and I haven't eaten anything. But soon enough, I'll be having some Slovakian food.
Once again, I set out for the restaurant, but I spotted an opportunity to drink up some culture along the way.
So I was on the way to the lunch spot and I found this sort of food event and it looks really good. I think I'm still gonna stick with the restaurant that I have planned out, but I did stop for a beer. It's a spot. It's important to stay hydrated when it's this warm out.
After enjoying that beer, I finally made it to the restaurant, the Slovak Pub, which is a historic eatery and bar. In fact, the Slovak Pub claims to be the largest bar in Bratislava. Within the maze of rooms, I was seated in the room of St. Cyril Methodius, which I thought was a good omen since I went to a grammar school of the same name.
I finally made it to the restaurant and I just got seated. It's time to explore the menu.
The Slovak Pub offers a wide variety of traditional Slovakian food. In terms of beverages, there's beer. I got a half liter of the restaurant's own homemade beer.
The beer is really good. It's nice, smooth, and refreshing. It's the ideal beer to pair with almost any food.
In terms of food, I went with the beef goulash with bread dumplings. The dish was solid. The beef was very tasty, along with the rich and flavorful sauce. I liked the bread dumplings as well, which were texturally on point.
It's a pretty solid beef goulash, nice and comforting. Yeah, it's good stuff.
In addition to my main course, I also got a side of fries. I know, it's kind of odd to get that in a Slovakian restaurant, but I just had a taste for fries and I wanted at least something on the side next to my goulash.
The fries are pretty basic and they need salt, but they're not bad.
Overall, that was a nice, satisfying meal, and I appreciated the restaurant as well, even though it was a bit touristy. After finishing, it was time for the bill, which totaled to 1880 euros, but with my tip, I spent about 22 euros.
So that hit the spot. That was definitely an enjoyable lunch, and now it's time for more exploring of Bratislava.
I set out once again. I went to another of the most notable spots in the city, which was right near the Slovak Pub, the Presidential Palace. Right behind the building is a beautiful garden and park, which I enjoyed wandering through.
I just checked off another landmark of Bratislava. I believe that is the Presidential Palace over there. It's certainly a beautiful looking building, but there's so much more to do and see. Let's go.
Next, I headed in the general direction of the Slavin Monument. I wasn't sure exactly where I was going, but I was enjoying the sights along the way.
Damn, this is a pretty big staircase. Honestly, I have no idea where the hell I'm going, but you know what? This is fun. This is an adventure. I mean, I love the unknown. You never know what will happen.
After a good climb, I finally made it to the Slavin Monument. Its purpose was to honor the Russian soldiers who died, who fought to free Slovakia from the Germans in World War II. The The Slavin Monument features a 40-meter tall obelisk which can be seen at numerous points throughout Bratislava.
I made it up here to this war memorial. I think it's really nicely done. It's a great looking monument. It's very respectful, and right now there's hardly anyone here. This whole area just has a sense of peacefulness to it. In addition, there are also some spectacular views of the city here. Now I'm gonna walk around a bit, take some pictures, but then I'm gonna get back to the old town area because, yeah, I am thirsty and I need my caffeine hit. It is hot out.
As I made my way back to the Old Town area of Bratislava, I pounced when I saw a coffee shop.
Finally, I got some much needed coffee. I got a cold brew from this place I just walked by called Good Time Coffee Roasters. It's decent, it's a little bitter, but this is liquid, it's cold, and it's just what I needed. Well, that took like 10 seconds to drink, and I'm still kind of thirsty. Perhaps there'll be some beverage along the way, but it's time to get back to exploring. There's still so much to see in Bratislava.
I indeed found a beverage along the way. I stopped at Výčap Ernőho, a brew pub that was actually next to the food festival I went to earlier. I got a half liter of the pale lager for a mere €2.90, which is about $3 US. Bratislava is very affordable.
Like I said, I'm still thirsty, and I had to do the responsible thing. I had to take a break so I can quench my thirst. It is hot out, gotta be smart. And that's a pretty decent beer too.
It was indeed warm out. The current temperature was 32 degrees Celsius with a feel-like temperature of 35. That translates to 95 degrees Fahrenheit.
I am feeling good. I'm properly hydrated, and now I'm gonna head to this church. It's called the Blue Church, I believe. It looks really neat. I gotta see it. So I just turned the corner and I got my first glimpse of the Blue Church. All I can say is, wow.
The Blue Church is officially known as the Church of St. Elizabeth of Hungary. It was built between 1907 and 1908.
This is just stunning. You know, I've definitely seen a lot of beautiful churches over the last 2 weeks here in Europe, but this one really stands out. It's really unique, and I love the color blue.
I did go inside the church, and the interior was certainly nice, but it didn't have quite the same impact as its facade.
Wow, that was incredible. You know, I kind of feel like it's a place that you'd expect to see in that blue city in Morocco, Chefchaouen. I mean, that was another place that really blew me away with its beauty, but yeah, that church was stunning.
Next, I made my way to the Danube River, which is the second largest river in Europe.
I made it here to the river. You got that iconic bridge of Bratislava. It's pretty interesting looking. I'm gonna walk around here for a bit, but then I gotta start thinking about heading back to the train station. Damn, time really moves fast when you're having fun.
I really enjoyed the sights along the Danube, which included the fascinating UFO observation deck, but it was time for me to head back to Vienna. I made my way back to the bus stop and successfully returned to the train station.
Made it to the train station in one piece. The train back to Vienna is right beside me. I hope it's a train back to Vienna. We'll see. But anyways, this day in Bratislava has been amazing. I definitely have to come back. There's only so much you can do and see in a day, but I think my day was well spent. And yeah, I'm very happy. Bratislava is a must visit, especially if you're in Vienna and if you have the time. And in time, I will definitely return to Bratislava.